So, my name's Lindsay. I am a TA first year of Earth Systems. That is not me. That is Nevin, a TA at Field Camp, looking out over some mountains. And before you're ready to cross the Rio Grande or do something in the field and identify rocks, you're gonna have to wanna have a basic grasp over mineral identification. So, yep, that's me. Woo, dressed all funny. Okay, so for this video, first I'm going to go through an example. Still pay attention to the lecture you get from me or from your TA. It'll go into a lot more detail, but for this, I'm going to go through an example of mineral identification, and then I'm going to show you some minerals and the tests that were done on them. You're going to write them down yourself, figure out what they are, put it on your lab sheet, and then later turn in your lab sheet. Okay, so starting off, here is my example. The first thing you're going to do when you're identifying a mineral, let's give it a good once-over. Here we're really checking for color. Color is not a diagnostic property. You can't identify a mineral from color, but you can use it as sort of a starting point, kind of something to look at. So I'm just going to write EX since it's an example, and then write down the color. It's sort of a brownish red. And so we're going to keep that in mind when we go into the next property. So the next mineral property on our ID sheets is cleavage, and aside from being yet another uncomfortable geology word, cleavage is the ability of a mineral to break in consistent planes. These can be breaking along planes of atomic weakness, and it's going to be consistent with crystal symmetry, and it could be multidirectional from one mineral to another. And it will be reported in planes, or for our purposes, just if the cleavage is poor or what direction it is, if it's easy to tell. And so for the mineral example we have here, you can see it's not really breaking in planes, so we're just going to say that the cleavage is poor or absent. So the next property we're going to look at is luster, and luster is going to be a reflective property of the mineral. For the purposes of this, though there are more subcategories, we're going to use M for metallic luster or NM for non-metallic. Some minerals are going to have a metallic luster. They're going to be shiny, like this guy or this guy. And some minerals are just going to be kind of normal and not have that. Some, especially with video, are tricky, so be careful. So for our example, it's definitely not shiny and metally, so we're going to write down a good NM for non-metallic. The next property on our sheets is streak, and this is going to be the color that happens when you rub a mineral on a streak plate. We have the white ones, we have the dark ones, so that you can see the color. In some cases, like this one, the mineral is actually so hard that it scratches the streak plate, which is a good segue into our next property, which is hardness. So this property is hardness, how hard a mineral is. We're going to use our good old friend, the Mohs hardness scale, to determine that. The Mohs hardness scale is a 1 through 10 scale of relative hardness, and it's based off if minerals scratch or are scratched by other things. You may see me scratching something with either my fingernail or like an iron nail, and that's to see if it is harder than that or softer than that. If it is scratched by it, it's softer than that. If it scratches the thing, then it is harder than that. For our mineral example, you're going to see me scratch the mineral example on some glass, and you're going to see that it scratches the glass. And we also know from our previous test that it scratches the streak plates, both of them, doesn't have a color, just puts a line right through them. And so we can take our little scale here, and we can say, oh look, it's harder than the streak plate. So we know that the mineral has to have a hardness that is over 6.5. So just like people, every mineral is a little special, and there's going to be something probably that's a little bit unique about it. And to me, that's kind of the easiest thing to use to figure out what your mineral is. For some minerals, that may be something cool, like it fizzes with HCl called effervescence, or maybe it smells or it tastes weird. But for our example mineral here, it's actually going to have this nice six-sided little structure. Woo! And that's a hexagonal pattern. That's going to be real important. Okay, so now we have the chart filled out. We're going to pull out our nice handy-dandy mineral identification sheet, and we're going to start with the color/luster. Is it light? Is it dark or medium? Or is it metallic in luster? So this is the first thing we want to see what paper we're on. This one is not metallic. It's not all shiny like these boys. And is it light colored? Well, here's an example of a light colored mineral right here, and no, it's really not that. So let's go back to what ours is. It's kind of a medium, darker colored mineral. So we know what of the three sheets we're on. Okay, so next we're going to see if we're on the top or bottom half of this sheet, and that's going to be based on hardness. We know it scratches the glass. Great googly moogly, it's a hard mineral. So we're going to know we're kind of on the top half of this sheet. That narrows it down some more. Next we're going to look at cleavage. Is it have good cleavage or poor cleavage? Well, that first top thing, you can't really read it, says cleavage good, and we already wrote down that it's not good. It's kind of poor or absent, so we're going to know that we're not up here. Nope, nope, nope. We are not in the good cleavage. We're back down here in the poor cleavage. So we know what section we're in. Now we're going to look for those special properties. So we're going up, we're looking, we're reading, because we can do that, and nope, 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 nope. Don't really see anything that's useful. And then remember back to the streak. Oh no, we know that it's hard. We're going to use that. So like, it's got to be really up on the top half of this sheet right here. Okay, and then we remember our special property. This little guy is hexagonal. Look, hexagonal prisms right there. Bam, hexagonal. Yep, yep, yep. Point it out, Lindsay. There we go. And here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Right there. And so now we know that this is in fact corundum. Whoop, spelling it out on the board. Try not to misspell it. Looking at that sheet. Corundum, yeehaw. Okay, now it's your turn. Here are some minerals for you to identify. Okay, so this is going to be sample B. So here it is. Yeah, give you a nice view of sort of what the sample looks like. First I'm going to do the streak test. A little streak, yep, there's the streak. Boop. Trying to scratch the glass. Kind of hard to see, but that does not scratch the glass. It is, however, scratched by the nail, but not by my fingernail. So you can use your little hardness scale to figure out what the hardness is based off that. Now I'm going to drop some HCl on this bad boy. See what happens. And the glare's kind of bad, but if you look right now, you can kind of see little bubbles. Ooh, there it goes. One of the best parts of geology. Okay, sample G, here we go. Yeah, so this guy, a little waxy, I guess, yeah. So I'm going to do that good old streak test. White clear, you can't really see it. It's not going to scratch the glass. And my fingernail is gonna scratch it. You know what that means? Okay, so, yep, not to give it away, but for this mineral I'm gonna do something a little special. I washed it, don't worry. And yep, that tastes salty and gross. And yep, probably the second best thing about geology is tasting rocks, but yeah, that doesn't fizz. Now on to sample H. Yeah. Okay, this guy's kind of sparkly, yeah, one of my favorites because it's kind of fun, honestly. Yep, it's going to flake off right there into thin little sheets, and it's not going to scratch anything, not even that streak plate, like, yeah. Not the glass, yeah. Okay, now we're on to sample P. Oh boy, look at it. Nice and sparkly. I'm trying to focus that dot cam. Yeah, look at it. Woohoo! Sweet. Okay, so yeah, that thing is actually super hard. It's gonna like kind of scratch that streak plate. It's not gonna scratch it. And so I'm gonna take the glass and get a good little rub-a-dub. And bada bing. What do you know? Focus that camera, yep. Yeah, it really scratches that glass right there. So yeah. Woo. And yeah, I'm putting some acid on it. Some good old HCl, and it's not fizzing. Okay, quick pause. I'm just going to kind of leave the narration for now. Just use what's on the screen. If you have any questions, just email me. Here we go, simple R. Kind of smelly.